In this first report, we tell you that the People's Progressive Party civic government will be moving ahead with legislation in the 12th Parliament, which will see Guyanese benefiting holistically from the oil and gas sector.
Honoring a promise outlined in its manifesto on a subject championed on the 2020 campaign trail, the new government said every Guyanese must share in the prosperity of the oil and gas sector. Vice President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, the Honorable Dr. Gov't, said Thursday that the PPPC government will be drafting a legislation that will bring local content to the fore. The passage of such legislation will force oil companies to ensure that the issues most pressing to the business community and ordinary people are frontally addressed.
We are moving swiftly. We're hoping before the end of the year that we have draft legislation that we can put before the Parliament to deal with local content and driving more business and jobs for our people. The whole philosophy is that we want the oil companies to prosper, but Guyanese have to share that prosperity. If we don't, then we might as well shut down the sector if we don't share the prosperity. And we're going to ensure that that happens, that Guyanese share prosperity. This is a promise we made to people, and we will observe it faithfully.
The Vice President said the government has already made it clear during an engagement with ExxonMobil that local content is not just for that company alone.
We believe that enough has not been done to allow Guyanese to benefit from the developments taking place. And therefore, that will be one of the areas that we plan to negotiate with the company very soon. But more, it's not just in negotiation. We're a consultation with the public. We plan to set up a working group. That's why we reached out to Dr. Paul, because we know he did some seminal work in this regard. And then once we have come up with positions that will ensure that our people are treated in an equal manner. If you're a subcontractor, say a Trinidadian subcontractor now, or for ExxonMobil, you get duty-free concessions on everything, tax concessions. If you're Guyanese, and then they can then use the duty-free concessions and they bid on other projects. So they have an advantage over Guyanese who may want to build a warehouse but never got duty-free concession. And therefore they have to compete with a company that has concession.
With the absence of legislation in this regard, the Vice President said that there are no laws governing local content.
There's been no real definition, and there has been no interest on the part of the previous government to do the audits or to hold the company accountable in terms of definition of local content. That is why people can get away with this sort of thing. So once you have legislation, you have to have put in place the means of enforcing the legislation. And that is why we need a capability in government that will ensure that every provision of the contracts going forward, that those are observed by the companies involved.
For InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.